I was in a rare bookstore one day, and I went to the section on metaphysics. And I did not find this book, it found me. And that is the thing when you go into a bookstore or a library, all you do is turn on your sensory nerves. And I was going down the stacks, and this book almost slid out the shelf. Whoa. And I took it off the shelf, and I cracked it open, and the author was a woman. I cannot remember her name right now. It was many, many years ago, but I remember the copyright date, 1902. And it was about thoughts. And one of those passages said, you always can tell what your thoughts will do in bringing you hate or love, because thoughts are things, and their airy wings are swift as a carrier dove. They follow the law of the universe, that everything recreates its kind, and they speed over the track to bring you back whatever went out from your mind. Now take that to the bank. And another time I was in the library in the section on biography, and I found a book by a man named Paul Lawrence Dunbar. Prolific African-American poet. And little did I know that when he was growing up in Dayton, Ohio, his two best friends, this young black boy growing up in Dayton, his two best friends were Wilbur and Orville Wright. See how this thing works? Genius runs in packs. Well, the Wright brothers went to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, started playing with airplanes. Paul Lawrence Dunbar started playing with pen and parchment. One of my favorites was from Majors and Minors that he wrote in 1895. And little did I know that rap music started in 1895. See, people think rap music started in the 1980s with Run DMC, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Curtis Blow, the Sugar Hill Gang, NWA, Public Enemy, Ice Cube, Ice-T, Vanilla Ice. Yeah, I went there. But it seems to me, said Booker T, that this hip-hop 4/4 beat started way back in Africa. Dunbar picked up on it. I want y'all to help me tell one of his stories, one of his pieces, originally titled in Majors and Minors, A Negro Love Song. But let's update, and let's call it Jump Back, Honey, Jump Back. Now, some of y'all know this, but for the uninitiated, I will do the main part of the poem. For example, I will say, 1, 2, 1, 2. I seen my lady home last night. The refrain from the audience is, jump back, honey, jump back. Boy, George, I think you got it. All right, here we go. When I do that, that's when you say your part. If I don't do that, shut up. Director's note. You signers over there, y'all ready? Okay, all right. The universal language. Okay, rock and roll. From the top. 1, 2, 1, 2. I seen my lady home last night. Yeah, held her hand and squeezed it tight. Hey, hear her sigh, a little sigh, seen a light gleaming from her eye, and a smile go flitting by. Yeah, I heard the wind blow through the pine. Yeah, the mockingbird was singing fine. Ho! And my heart was beating so when I reached my lady's door that I couldn't bear to go. Yeah, I put my arm around her waist. Yeah, raised her lips and took a taste. Ooh. He said, love me, honey, love me true, love me well as I love you. And she answered, course I do. This next story actually comes from the island of Zanzibar. Zanzibar, tiny island that sits in the Indian Ocean near Tanzania. There are 3 girls in this story, all sisters to one another. The smallest girl was in kindergarten. She stood about that tall. Her name was Ben Willie. Ben Willie. Now, she had an older sister who was in the 3rd grade. She stood that tall. And her name was T.T. T-E-E-T-E-E. T.T. For you that wondered about the spelling. Then there was a sister in the 5th grade. She stood that tall. And her name was Tasha. Tasha, the vain one. She loved looking in the mirror. I'm so pretty. Some narcissism in her personality. However, T.T. and Tasha, the older girls in the 3rd and the 5th grade, did not properly take care of their little sister one day on a walk through the forest to play in the Indian Ocean. And Ben Willie got grabbed up by an ogre. The ogre is named the Zimwi. This is a story by Werner Ardema, my version of Ben Willie and the Zimwi. When the story opens up, it's early morning on the island of Zanzibar, East Africa. Now, T.T. and Tasha, the older girls, they wanted to go play in the Indian Ocean. And they did not, I repeat, they did not want to take their little sister with them. And they were protesting to their mama, oh, mama, come on, we don't want to take Ben Willie with us. She's too little. She walks too slowly. She's in kindergarten. Oh, mama, no. We're in the 3rd and the 5th grade. Let us go to the beach by ourselves. Mama listened to it. Then she said, now you listen and listen well. Are you listening? Yes, ma'am. Good. I will say this one time. If you don't take your little sister with you to go play on the beach, you won't go either. Oh, come on, girl, you make us sick. She thought it was funny. Mama said I could go. You've been overruled. Bam. I don't care if you're mad. You can be mad until you get glad. Now, Mama said I could go. And you know Mama rules. Those girls knew it too. Oh, but they were upset. That takes us a breath with us everywhere we go. Ben Willie didn't care. As they were going through the rainforest, she heard all of the sounds in the forest awakening. Pretty birds. Eventually, they arrived at the beach. And there it was, the Indian Ocean. The older girls knew how to swim, so they perched themselves up on an overhanging rock, timed the waves coming in on the shore, and jumped into the ocean. Let's go swimming! Ben Willie had never been swimming in her life. I've been in a wading pool. But this ain't a wading pool. She looked and couldn't see the other side. Can't even see the other side. T.T., what's on the other side of the Indian Ocean? Australia. Whoa, come from the land down under. She tasted it. Bah! It's salty. All this water, you can't even drink it. What's up with that? Tasha said, oh, you silly girl. The sun evaporates the water. Salt stays behind. They become clouds. It rains. Fresh water. Whoa. I want to swim. But when she tried to get into the ocean, The wave frightened her backwards each time. Oh man, it's warm too. The older girl having big fun. Come on in, Big Willie. I can't swim. We know. I don't care. She really did. But one of those times she tried to get into the ocean, the wave dropped a big pink seashell right at her feet. Woo! A seashell in his mind. She picked it up, put it to her ear. She could hear the sound of the ocean inside. I know what? I'll make up a song for my seashell. Okay. La 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 la, la 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 la, la. I have a shell that came from the sea, a shell the big wave gave to me. It's pink inside like the sunset sky, and inside you can hear the ocean sigh. She was so happy with her new seashell, when she sat it down on a rock and started making sand castles at the water's edge. But by 12 o'clock noon, the older girls are ready to go home for lunch. They had been walking for about 15 minutes, and all of a sudden, Bimley stopped. Ooh, hey, I forgot my seashell. Her sister said, so? We have to go back and get it. No, we don't. Yes, we do. Read my lips, little girl. No, we don't. We'll come back next week and get it. She said, I won't come back next week and get it. Somebody might take it by then. I want to go get it. They said, that don't work with us, girlfriend. We not going with you, Neil. If you want it, you go by yourself. We're out of here. And those older girls went on home and let their little sister walk back by herself. Well, as she was going back to get her seashell, she had to sing that song to comfort herself. I have a shell that came from the sea, a shell the big wave gave to me. It's pink inside like the sunset sky, and inside you can hear the ocean sigh. She had sung that song 3 times, but when she got back to the beach, right there on that same rock where she had left her seashell, was the Zimwe. He was on top of the rock like a giant bullfrog. He had long, skinny arms that hung over the rock, big, sharp 3-inch fingernails that scratched on the rock. He had a huge head that went into the air like a giant light bulb. Big bubble eyes hung out of his face like 2 mangoes. He had a witch's nose that came out down to a big crook like that. He had fangs in his mouth, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. When he opened up his mouth to smile, green slobber ran from his mouth. Blah. She said, oh, my, I think you need a hanky. Thank you. Yeah, no, you keep it. Thanks. How sweetly you sing, little girl. Thank you, sir. I just want to get my seashell so I can catch up with my older sisters. Okay, sing that song for me one more time. I'll give you a seashell. I have a shell that came from the sea. Come closer and sing louder. She came a little closer. I have a shell that came. Come closer and sing louder. He kept telling her to come closer and sing louder and come closer and sing louder until finally she was right below the Zimwe. All of a sudden, Mommy, Daddy, I gotcha. He had a tall kunga drum. He took the head of his kunga drum off. He put the girl inside, put her seashell inside, and put the drum head back on tightly. Now I have the only singing drum in the world. And everywhere I go, little girl, I will play my drum like this. Boom, boom. And you must sing that song of the seashell from inside, otherwise you shall not eat. And at that, the Zimwe put the drum on his back and started walking into the forest. When he got to a nearby village, he took the drum on his shoulder. Boom. Gather all the people around. I have a magic singing drum. That's right. Not just boom, boom, boom. It can sing a song of a seashell. Feed me a meal. I will have my magic drum sing for you. The people got all excited. They had never heard of a magic singing drum before, and they rushed around to get the Zimwe some food. And then the Zimwe played that drum, and that little girl was forced to sing the song of the seashell from inside. But in the meantime, Titi and Tasha came skipping into their village. Hi, Mama, here for lunch. Mama said, where's Ben Willie? Who? Who? What about that little girl you've been living with your whole life? Your little sister. Remember her? She wants lunch too. Okay, you tell her. I'm not going to tell her, you tell her. Were you in the 3rd grade? You in the 5th grade. Mama said, I did not ask grade level. I asked, where is your little sister? When they said they let her walk back by herself, what? Go get my baby out of that forest right now. I can't believe you two. Oh, the girls, they ran and they walked and they walked and they ran. They ran and they walked and they walked and they ran. They ran and they walked and they walked and they ran and they ran and they, oh, double dust. They ran and they walked and they walked and they ran and they ran and they walked and they walked and they ran and they ran and they walked and they walked and they ran. But when they got back to the beach, the tide was out. There was nothing on the beach but little sand crabs running across the sand. And they knew something terrible had happened to their little sister, and it was their fault. And they ran back home to tell their mama what happened. Mama, we can't find her. Oh, my baby. Where's my baby? She told her husband what happened too. He got all his friends together, and by night they lit torches in the fire. Look for her all night long. Ben Willie, where are you? Ben Willie, where are you, child? They looked for her for 7 days and 7 nights. They could never find her. They were so very sad. But in the meantime, the Zimwe would take that little girl from one village to another. He would play the drum, she would sing, they would give him a big meal to eat, and later on he would take the drum head off in the forest, give her fruit from the trees to eat. But one day, he took that drum to a certain village in the forest. Haven't been here before. Set the drum on the ground. Boom. Gather all the people around. I have a magic singing drum. Not just boom, boom, boom. It can sing a song of a seashell. Feed me a meal. I will have my magic drum sing for you. The people got all excited. They had never heard of a magic singing drum before, and they rushed around to get the Zimwe some food. And one woman walked over to the Zimwe. Excuse me, Zimwe. Would you like fish or chicken with your rice? Billy said, oh! That was her mama's voice out there. The Zimwe had accidentally taken her back to her own village, and I was talking to her mama. She said, oh, I have to think of a way to let my mama know I'm inside this drum. So when the Zimwe started playing the drum, she changed the lyrics of her song slightly, ever so slightly. This time she sang, I have a shell that came from the sea, a shell the Zimwe stole from me. It's dark in here like the midnight sky, and if you listen, you can hear Ben Willie's sigh. Zimwe didn't hear that, neither did the mama, but the two sisters did. They said, Mama, that's Ben Willie inside that drum. I know her singing voice. Mama said, what? Are you sure? Yes, ma'am. Shh, I have an idea. Mama found an empty bucket. Excuse me, Zimwe, would you take this bucket to the river and put us some water in it for your dinner? Of course I will, no problem. I'll leave my drum here till I get back. Daddy said, yeah, you do that. When the Zimwe was gone, the daddy went up to the drum. Everybody get back, give me some room here, get back. Stand down. My job. The daddy took the head of that drum off, and there his little girl was inside holding her seashell to her chest. The daddy picked up and gave it back to the mommy. They were crying tears of joy. They were so happy. The two sisters started jumping up and down. Yay! Ben Millie's back! Yay! Ben Millie's back! Yay! They said, hey, it ain't hammer time. Zimmy gonna be back in a few minutes. Oh, Daddy, what are we gonna do? Take your mama and go in the hut. Take your mama and get in the hut. Get. Mama and the girls disappeared. Daddy took sand from the ground, put it in the drum until it was about the same weight as his little girl was. He put the head of the drum back on. Somebody said, here he comes. The Zimwe returned during the manicure. Here's your water. Thank you. Excuse me, Zimwe. Why don't you play us one more tune before dinner? I'll do it. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Sing, little girl. Boom, 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 boom. Sing, little girl. But no song came from the drum this time, and everybody knew why. Look at that clown. The Zimwe kept playing, but no song came from the drum. The daddy said, what's the matter, Zimwe? Drum have laryngitis. Cat got his tongue. Cat named Diddle Diddle. Your energy is still on this stage. You all do know that. And the Zimwe got so embarrassed, he took the drum, put it on the back. I'm out of here, forget dinner. You gonna get it, little girl? You gonna get it? He got back in the forest. Boom. Ooh, that was embarrassing. Why did you not sing, little girl, when I told you to, huh? Why did you not sing, little girl, when I told you to, huh? Oh. You won't talk to me anymore, huh? You wait till I get my hands on you. He took the head of his drum off. Stand! I've been tricked. The Zimwe was a shapeshifter and used his powers to change his form into a big orange pumpkin. He hung on a vine and shut his eyes. The next morning, there were the three girls picking fruit for breakfast into big baskets, and all of a sudden, Bimley looked in that pumpkin patch, and there was that big orange pumpkin. Wow! Look at that big old pumpkin. My mama could make 5 pies out of that. I'm gonna pluck it for mama. But as soon as she reached for it, the Zimwe said, I'll pluck you. Wah! She started running. The Zimwe ran off the vine. Come back here, come back here. Bimley was running as hard as she could. But remember, y'all, she was in kindergarten. Had a little short kindergarten legs. She could only run so fast. Mommy, mommy! She kept falling down. The older girls could run much faster. Oh, let's get out of here. Boogity, 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 boogity. Boogity, 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 boogity. They left Bimley way behind. He's gonna catch me again. He's gonna catch me again. The girl stopped. You better come on, girl. Oh, they ran back so hard when they got back home. She looked like Supergirl. I wish I could raise that other foot for some reason. Anyway, that's what I get for being on planet Earth. They ran back home and said, Daddy, the Zimwe, he changed into a pumpkin and now he's chasing us. What? I'm sick of that, Zimwe. Get in the hut with your mama. Men, get your machetes ready. And then when the Zimwe came, the men had their machetes. The Zimwe stopped. Whoa. Have you seen my people come this way? Daddy said, I don't know your people, little pumpkins. I see footprints going into the hut. When the Zimwe went for the hut, the men went for their machetes. Get back, get back, get back. Whoa! He wanted no parts of the steel. Instead, he used his shapeshifter power one more time to change into a big white seagull. He flew over the village, over the forest, back to the beach, and landed on that same rock where he had met Bimley, changed back to his hideous. Farewell, my little singer. You have won. I'm out of here. He never returned. But that night, in Bimley's village, everybody was seated around telling stories. And everybody would walk up to the front of the group to tell their very best story. But when Bimley walked up to the front of the group with her seashell in her hand, she had the very best story to tell of all. And that's the end of